Hey, this is Quad B, also known as Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer, with another video. As you all know, over the past few years in this second decade of the 21st century, black people everywhere have launched numerous protests against police in the United States, mostly for fatal shootings of unarmed black men. But where it comes to protests, allow me, Quad B, to flip that script with a trip going back 35 years. You see, Quad B and the newspaper for which he worked as a reporter prompted a local police union to go so deep in its collective feelings that its officers actually picketed outside the newspaper's offices. The cops' main beef? That the newspaper in general, and me in particular, were racist in our reporting. You heard that right. We were being racist. Chuckle, chuckle. It started with a report of gunfire being exchanged between a police officer and a suspect on a hot Wednesday night in July 1983. Leaving both seriously wounded and hospitalized. I was sent out to South Camden, New Jersey, where the incident took place. I parked a few blocks away. I had spoken to the Metro desk via a handheld radio and was putting it in my car when a police officer rolled up on me. This officer who rolled up on me threatened to break my car window when he accused me of stealing the radio, which really belonged to the newspaper. Again, I had put it in my car and locked it up when this guy rolled up on me. I initially refused to unlock my car so he could examine the radio. When he threatened to damage my car, my first thought was, I'm gonna have a hell of a time getting the city of Camden, New Jersey to cover this damage. So I finally complied. He may have been bluffing, but I wasn't gonna take the chance. It was then that I finally ID'd myself as a reporter. He called me unprofessional. Chuckle, chuckle. So now to continue, my little sheltered as a child behind who got his first nigga wake up call was now ultra pissed. That would be me. I was ultra pissed. So I went to the scene where a bunch of folks were yelling at police officers and the police officers were yelling right back. So I was standing there, dress pants, dress shoes, dress shirt. I stuck my notebook in the back of my pocket and I just stood and listened. I listened to everything. And my initial story, the story I wrote, was actually a sidebar to the main story. I wrote that the people in Camden complained as they do now. You know, black city, white occupying force. And I quoted a police officer's rant against one of the people gathered at the scene. That is what pissed the cops off because they didn't know where it came from. You know, they could. Here's the thing: they wouldn't talk to the media anyway. So we went ahead. I went ahead and did my own thing. Let's say that the resulting story pissed these guys off so much that they staged this protest in front of the newspaper building, and they also gave my editors a statement that said that I told the police they should shoot you more often, quote unquote, which wasn't true. They probably figured that I was one of the people in the crowd of folks yelling at the police when I wasn't. I was there, but it wasn't me who said all that. But when my editor showed me this statement, my blood ran cold. Looking back, I would say the cops' complaints were BS. One of the things they said was we were getting our information from, quote, winos, drug addicts, pimps, and prostitutes. is if they're not if those folks are not reliable eyewitnesses. And that lie they put out about, naming me as the person who said they ought to shoot you more often, totally kind of enraged me, excuse me. Now, the Philadelphia Daily News had covered the protests too, and to their credit, they didn't report that cop part in terms of the allegation of what I said. That is, if they had a copy of the statement. Now, if they had reported it, I would have been in the position of having to publicly deny that crap. But the accusation would have been out there in the court of public opinion with my credibility at question. My father was worried, saying I should talk to the city's mayor. I said I wasn't worried, I wasn't afraid of the cops, and never had any problems with them after that. Now, on a related note, in February of this year, it marked the 50th anniversary of the National Advisory Commission on Civil Disorders issuing what is also known as the Kerner Commission Report. This report was put together in 1967 and sought to explain the conditions that led to uprisings that plagued cities each year going back to 1964. In its report, the commission took a deep dive on news coverage of the uprisings and found a significant, quote, imbalance, unquote, between what the American news media was reporting and what actually happened. The Kerner Commission report said that many black people interviewed said media are instruments of the white power structure. They thought that these white interests guide the entire white community, from the journalists' friends and neighbors to city officials, police officers, and department store owners. Publishers and editors, if not white reporters, supported and defended those interests with enthusiasm and dedication. And many people in the ghettos, the report said, apparently believe that newsmen rely on the police for most of their information about what is happening during a disorder and tend to report much more of what the officials are doing and saying than what the Negro citizens or leaders in the city are doing and saying. Editors and reporters at a certain conference in Poughkeepsie, New York, acknowledged that the police and city officials are their main and sometimes only source of information. It was also noted that most reporters who cover civil disturbances tend to arrive with the police and stay close to them, often for safety and often because they learn where the action is at the same time as the authorities, and thus buttresses the ghetto impression that the police and press work together toward the same ends. An impression that may come as a surprise to many within the ranks of the police and press, who are supposed to be adversarial to one another. It is true that reporters do rely heavily on official sources such as the police, but that didn't back then, or should not today, make reporters the arms of the government. As my experience showed, first-hand observation trumps official statements any day. I'm kind of proud that my first-hand observations ran counter to the official statements we normally regurgitated. I'm even prouder that my observations got those officers angry enough to protest. If you like this video, please like the video, please share the video, and please subscribe to the Quad B channel. And also click on the bell so that when Quad B goes live or uploads new contents, you will be notified. Until next time, this is Quad B saying peace, deuces, and God bless.